Hello everybody and welcome back to the second tutorial of our keylogger. And in the previous tutorial we coded this little program right here, which is keylogger1.py, which actually adds the keystrokes to the file called keylogger.txt. But we noticed once we actually run the file, so let's run it, keylogger1.py, and we just type here hello world. And we close the program. If we cat the keylogger.txt file that we received from it, it actually prints out these weird letters right here, with these apostrophes between each letter, and with this U between each letter. So what we want to do is actually get rid of that, and how will we do that? Well, let us actually make another program. Let's call it keylogger2.py, and let's actually make first the import, so import key py input.keyboard, I believe. It should be something like this. Let's start off with the same thing, so same as the previous, keyboard underscore listener equals py input.keyboard.listener. And we want to use the onPress function to our process keys. Then we use the same as before, so with keyboard underscore listener, we actually keyboard underscore listener and then join. And right now, since we set up our listener, right now we need to write a function that will actually get rid of the process. I don't need to see right here, so let me just delete one. Process underscore keys, and we implement key in that function. And right now what we want to actually do is we want to try and actually print the letters first without those apostrophes. So how will we do that? We can actually do that with using the key itself and basically making it a char. Now there is a simple thing in Python that we can use, which is key.char to do that. So let us see how that will look like. So let us create a variable called, for example, keys. And let's actually add nothing to it. Then use the same variable, which is global keys, where we will actually store the keys itself. So let us try to just type here keys equal keys plus the string of key.char. Now, in the previous video we basically did something similar, just we didn't have this .char right here. And all we want to do right now in order to check this out is actually print keys. So let's see what this will do. It will process the key to our function. Then since our keys is nothing, it will add to our variable keys, it will add the string of the key.char. Then it will print the keys. Now this will print the keys forever as long as we are running this program and typing something in the keyboard. So let us Control O this, then Control X, and let us run the keylogger. Let me just make it an executable, keylogger2.py. And if we run it, whoops, let me just close this. If we run it once again and type here hello world, you will see that it will type the word hello first, and then we will get an error called attribute error. Now the reason why we got this attribute error is because our program worked perfectly while we were typing the letters, but as soon as I went to actually type the spacebar, it said key object has no attribute char, since the spacebar key actually doesn't have any character that actually represents it. And that's why we get this error. So let me show you once again. So if I run keylogger.py and just type here hello and then space, we once again get the same error. So what we want to do right now is actually implement a try and accept function that will actually use this error as an accept. So we want to copy this error, since this is the error that we will get for every basically key that we type in, such as spacebar, delete, backspace, enter, and so on. All of those keys that actually do not have a character representation. So we want to actually implement that in our keylogger as well. But what is good about our second keylogger is that you saw that we do not have the weird apostrophe between each letter anymore. We just get the basic output of the string itself. Now we also need a little bit more work on this, so don't worry, this is not the ending project. Let us, before we do that, run the try. So we will try to actually add the character version of the key to our variable keys. And in case that doesn't work, that means that the character or the key that we typed in doesn't really have the character representation. So we want to use except and then the error that we copied, which is attribute error. And then we press two dots, and what we want to do is basically run an if-else statement right here. So, for example, we know that in our previous video, let me just save this and leave it like this for now, just to show you. If I copy the keylogger.txt from our previous video, you can see that once I press space, it actually prints key.space. So we can use this, for example, to process the key and add if key equals key.space, then we will add something to the keys variable. So let us see what I actually mean by that. So let us go back to our keylogger2.py, and if I just type here if key equals key.space, which is what prints out when in our previous tutorial once we actually type spacebar. But let's see what we can actually add to our keys variable. So keys would be everything previously, so keys, and then plus what the best thing for spacebar is basically just an empty space. So make sure to type double quotes and then empty space and then another double quotes. So this will add an actual spacebar between every time we actually print space. So let us see how this will work. Let us save this and let us run it once again. So hello, and if I just type here space and type here world, you can see it prints out hello world right here. We didn't get the error for no character for space, it only printed the empty spot right here. But we also need to do the same for every other character that doesn't have the implementation of, or basically the representation in character wise. So what we want to do right here is, for now on, just type here else for any other character that doesn't have the string key char. We want to type here keys equal keys plus and then empty space, so we can actually make distance between the regular characters and, for example, an enter, a backspace, a delete, a tab, and shift, and so on. And we want to add the string of that key. Now, as I said before, we are here using only the key and not key.char, since if we actually specify the key.char, we would get the error once again. You want to specify only the string of the key for every basically button on your keyboard that doesn't have the character representation. So, and after that we also want to add an empty space so we can actually differentiate them. And let us save this and see how this will actually work. So if I control X to exit, keylogger2.py, and if I just type here hello world, enter, key tab, shift, backspace, you can see it prints all of these right here. So what we want to do is actually add, even for these other things, we want to add basically the representation in characters for all of them. Now for shift we can actually make the enter to be a new line, we can make the key.tab to be an empty space as well. Backspace could delete, but we can also make that an empty space as well, or we can just leave it like this so we know what the user has typed. So key enter basically means the user typed enter, tab means tab, and so on. Well, let me just close this program right here. And that would be about it for this tutorial. We will continue actually making our keylogger better in the next tutorial, and then we will actually implement it in our backdoor. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.